To do this, we're going to decrease some of these pegs. And what we're going to do is we're going to take every, where am I at here? Okay. Go ahead. I didn't. Oh. That one was a true knit. There we go. Now I'm back at the first. This was my pearls. We're going to take every fourth peg and place it on the stitch off of every fourth peg and place it on the peg before it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Depending on your tension, if you need to twist the stitch, that is fine. Just try to do it the same way each time. As you can see, I'm kind of flipping mine around the front. You can also take and not twist it and kind of, see, for me, my tension's tight, so that's harder. Bring around the back. As long as you're getting the stitch off the one peg and onto the next. And if your tension is too tight and you're having trouble moving the stitches, you can actually kind of work along with it. I'll show you that in a minute. But you do this all the way around the loom. Now, what I was talking about, we'll just assume I've done this all the way around the loom. I'm not using the true knit stitch. I'm just going to do a flat stitch. You can use the true knit stitch if you want. But if your tension is really tight when moving the stitches over, you can go ahead and work like the first couple pegs and then move the stitch. That will help with the tension some. And I find it easier to take one stitch off at a time. I'll show you why on this one. It can be a lot harder to move them. If your tension isn't very tight, then you can do it. But I find if my tension's tight and I try that, sometimes this stitch will pop off. And it's a little more difficult to pick it up when you have two to pick up. So I just take one off at a time. See, that one was pretty tight. And I popped the regular stitch off. Let me do that again. There we go. So you go all the way around the loom. And when you're done with this part, you will have 3 pegs with 1 stitch on each, an empty peg all the way around. At this point, we're going to decrease again. So now we're going to take that middle stitch out of those 3 and move it over. And you can see where I've done like my U-stitch, how tight my tension is. You can do the true knit stitch and that will really help with the tension. Oops. See, but I'm going to take the second stitch, move it over, do that all the way around, and what you're going to have is 1 stitch, empty peg, 2 stitches, empty peg, 1 stitch, empty peg, 2 stitches, empty peg, all the way around. And you work these just the same. I take that top stitch off. See, my tension is way too tight for that row. Top stitch off, bottom stitch, and then I move on to the next. So go around the loom. When you're done, you will have 1 stitch on every other peg.